we've received some false advertising. Whether or not it was traditions of the church that sugar-coated God or Jesus himself who kind of misdirected us by his choice of words. Jesus refers to the Holy Spirit as the advocate, which sounds like somebody that's going to fight on our side of the struggle, is going to lead us to all truth. What Jesus doesn't say is how the Holy Spirit's going to do that, what the experience is going to be like. So it's nice and heartwarming to hear that somebody's going to guide us, to be present with us all the time, to take our side in life. If Jesus were to come along and tell the disciples, the apostles, that the Holy Spirit was going to blow through their defenses, make a way past their insecurities, shake the house, and fire them up to go face their fears most directly face on, odds are they wouldn't have been too keen on the coming of the Holy Spirit. In our church tradition, we label the fruits of the Spirit in nice, gentle terms: peace, joy, kindness, gentleness, patience, self-control. Those might be the fruits, that might be the end game, but the process of getting there, our interaction with the Holy Spirit, seems to be like the antithesis of those things. The Holy Spirit simply doesn't guide us to the truth by giving us the answer. It's usually by taking a croquet mallet and smacking us upside the head, back and forth, until we're worn down, to the point where we say, I don't know what to believe anymore, and then the Holy Spirit might show us another path. It's a very frustrating, insecure, upsetting process. If we do not accept or trust that the Holy Spirit is working in the midst of that process, we might get to the point of despair. If, however, we recognize what's happening, appreciate it for as part of the process, it may still be painful, but it won't be as painful. And actually, we might get through it a little bit more quickly as we start to understand why it has to happen that way. One of the best teachers that I had in school started off the semester kind of rough because he never seemed to answer the questions of the students. Students started to wonder if he didn't know the answer, kind of wondered if he didn't understand their questions, wondered if he had a clue. But after a while, if you started to pay attention, the teacher was always asking the students to review their own misunderstandings of things. And in the process of getting them to review their misunderstandings, their misconceptions, then they would understand why they didn't understand something in the first place. And they would answer their first question on their own, in most cases. That was a better approach to learning the truth, because if he simply gave them a typical answer, they wouldn't have understand the concept of why it was the right answer. They wouldn't be able to apply it in the future. And I believe the same is true with the functioning of the Holy Spirit. Leading us to all truth is not so much about a destination as it is part of the process. We can't appreciate what the truth is until we understand the complexity of reality, to understand all the pros and cons of every decision that we make. In the end, we often do have to make decisions. So we simply can't try to exhaust ourselves trying to get to the nth degree of certitude. That can't happen. But we will get to the point where we're probably close enough. We need to make a decision, and it may not ever be the point where we're so totally convinced that it's now an easy decision, because we'll still appreciate that there's pros and cons, that almost every decision we make is a compromise of some kind. In our Catholic tradition, we want to make it sound like there's this absolute truth out there that is so crystalline, so pure, so clean and easy that once you have it, your certitude is guaranteed and you don't have to struggle with the decision. I doubt that life is like that. We certainly don't see an example of it in Mother Nature. The world is evolving through this very messy process of having the status quo challenged. Things are constantly changing. We always need to adapt. It always seems to be an unsettling, upsetting process. And yet it always seems to work. And that's the work of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is in the midst of the mess. The Holy Spirit is the one that sets a fire over our heads of inspiration and under our butts of motivation and makes us move in directions and ways that we never thought possible. So Jesus might very well be telling his apostles and all of us disciples, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. That's where the Holy Spirit is found.